In this video, we're going to be talking about how to heal from trauma, all different kinds of trauma. If you don't know me, my name is Deborah. I am a transformational healer and coach, and I hope you like and subscribe to this video. This video is also hopefully going to clear up some questions that I have gotten, some comments that I have gotten from some of my last videos. So I want to talk about what I do as a healer. And now, when I work with my groups and my private clients, I do intuitive readings, energy healing, and coaching. So, what I do is I work with people in release work. Now, what is release work? What is it? So, this morning, as I was getting ready, I was thinking about what is releasing. Releasing is letting go of the identification with this little body mind and identifying with our true self, which is consciousness. Now, it has been said release work can be labeled in many different ways in different spiritual paths and religions. And this speaks my language. I have been with my teacher learning how to release, and there are so many different ways to release. She learned through Lester Levinson, and you can look him up on YouTube. He started the Sedona method, and it's very similar to the Sedona method, but it's not exactly the same. So, releasing also is in alignment with my spiritual path. I have a teacher and I also have a guru. And my teacher to me is just the extension of the truth from my guru. He put her in my life. Thank God. I'm so grateful for her. And I spend a lot of time with her, and I really, it's so life changing. It's the only thing that has changed me, and it really does. Release work really does speak my language. And what is releasing? It's freedom. It's freeing yourself from all of the stories, all of the identification. For me, this Deborah body mind of my childhood, my adulthood, my experiences. Easier said than done, but it is what my guru said, which my guru is Paramahansa Yogananda. He wrote the autobiography of Yogi. And in that book, he talks about his guru when he was in the ashram with his guru, which is a monastery, if you don't know, in India. And his guru was training him, releasing all of his, what they called diseased tooth, pulling out every diseased tooth out of the body. Why? What is this? It's the tendencies, the identification with the ego. Now, it's not pushing down the ego. It's not poo-pooing the ego. It's welcoming the ego. It's saying, this is what you've been identified with for lifetimes. It's not just this lifetime. And what happens is we identify with the story of what has happened or what we want to happen, what's happening now. And it's part of the whole, I call it get up, set up of the universe of God. We feel like we're separate. We feel like we are separate from everyone else. And when we are wanting to manifest something, it isn't so easy because we want something because we think we are separate from it. And we're always one with it because we have it already as consciousness. So I know a lot of people get really rattled by some of the posts that I do because they have been working a lot on other modalities, maybe. So this isn't for everybody, and this is not for the faint of heart. It is the most direct path I have ever experienced. And I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been on a spiritual path since my late 20s, but this has just been an addition to, and my soul wants freedom. So when you're releasing to be free, what does that mean? It means being in your true nature, happiness, fulfillment, not trying to grasp for it out there in a relationship, in money, and anything that you want. It doesn't mean you can't have fun. We're here to enjoy our experiences, believe it or not. The world and the news doesn't support that, but that's what we're here to do. And when the more you tune in and release the limiting beliefs of the ego, and you start to get into the consciousness that you are, that's true love. That's truly loving yourself. That's my definition of loving myself, is embracing the ego, not pushing it down, welcoming the little ego that has these thoughts and feelings, and but not holding on to those thoughts and feelings. So it's a lot of times when I talk to a group or an individual in a private about releasing, they look at me like I have three heads. Why? Because if you're new to releasing, it sometimes takes time. At least it did for me, where I was so close to my thoughts that I believed all of them. And I was so identified with them that I couldn't take a step back. It took me a while to take a step back and to start to question those thoughts and beliefs, because if we will die for our ideals, we will die for them. And what are they? They're just thoughts and feelings. It's kind of crazy. It's when you really take a step back and look at it, you're like, well, why would I want to die for that? Now, that's a whole nother topic. So I don't want to dive into that. But so I'm giving you a little idea of what is releasing. And even in religions, they have different terminology for that, right? I don't know what it is, but so I want to talk a little bit about my journey. Now, had a lot of emotional turbulence growing up. Now, I had great parents, and they were good people. They were providers, lived in a very comfortable, materially comfortable area with everything I needed. And I'm grateful for that. I had a wonderful childhood with my friendships and all that stuff. But I did have a lot of trauma in my nervous system from a lot of emotional abuse from my mom and just emotional neglect from my dad, because not because they're bad people, it's just they were busy surviving, right? So what happens is we go into our life and we have this nervous system dysregulation. And why is that? What that is causing that? It's because we have tucked it away, we've survived it, and we tucked it away in our subconscious mind, and we're making different decisions and choices in our life, decisions and choices about ourselves. Maybe not have, for me, I didn't have good self esteem, self worth. I used to smoke cigarettes a lot. I used to drink a lot. It was my coping mechanism. I didn't understand why. I was like, why am I doing this? And I said in one of my other videos that I really tried to normalize a very abnormal relationship with them. Now, again, I'm not a victim and I don't claim to be a victim. And this is not a story that I hold on to anymore. I don't identify with it anymore, because if you hold on for dear life, you're still dysregulating your nervous system. You're holding on to this trauma. And I also want to clarify that if you've been in a very traumatic situation, like a car accident or something, I was listening to Teal Swan and she said, you can't just tell that person that's been in a car accident who's broken physically to just get over it. Of course not. So I want to clear that with some people, because I think people are misunderstanding what I'm saying. And maybe I haven't been clear enough on it, but it's be gentle with yourself. That's another part of releasing, is not beating yourself up or efforting to release work. From what my teacher says, is as easy, releasing and letting go is as easy as breathing. And it's an ongoing process. It's not a one and done. It's a habit that you create, and again, that sounds like effort, but it's not. It's just you adopt it into your life, and you're letting go of identifying with, again, the little body mind, identifying with the stories, identifying with the trauma. Now, severe trauma sometimes takes a long time to release out of the nervous system, and especially if it's physical. So get all of the support that you need in that. And part of releasing when you've had severe trauma, whether it's physical or emotional or both, is allowing for the support to come in, to be loved and supported in any way you can. A lot of people have a hard time with that. So that's part of the healing. That's part of the releasing, wanting to control or resisting, needing help. A lot of people overgive and then they don't allow themselves to receive. So in my case, I felt like I was very heartbroken as a child, emotionally, not realizing that's what I was experiencing. And then later, I just kept repeating that in my romantic relationships. And not all of them were bad, but some of them were very heartbreaking. So today, what I'm always working on releasing. And recently, I had a awareness that of a tendency that I had, and I mentioned this in the other video, that was not a very good quality. It wasn't a good tendency. It was one of the meannesses of the heart. I identified with, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe. And when I was able to release it, there were thousands of thoughts behind that tendency. And I laughed. I was like, oh my gosh, that makes sense that I was holding on to that tendency and it was playing out in these thoughts of wanting to do this or wanting to do that. And I was cracking up. I was like, wow, because releasing is not always about screaming or crying. You can laugh your ass off. It's hilarious sometimes. I laugh a lot when I'm releasing all that energy that's been stuck in my body. And what happens is, or what happened to me is, I felt my heart open. I felt more present. I was much more aware. And then my interactions with the people closest to me were much more harmonious. And also, I was in this awareness that I had not wanted to see before with them, because I was making it all about me. I was taking things personally. I was not able to see where they were coming from and acknowledge what they needed, because I was focused on me and being unconscious. So releasing this tendency helped me to become conscious, and present and more at peace. And so energetically, your body will shift when you release tendencies, and they come with thousands and thousands of thoughts. And it's incredible. So as an energy healer, as an example, when I'm working with one-on-ones or in a group, I don't even have to see the person. I can feel where their energy body is at and if they're holding on to trauma. And in group sessions, which are so powerful and everybody's supporting each other, is by sometimes having a discussion and about releasing, and also sharing, this is what I'm going through and everything. I have one of the recent ones I did, I could feel the whole group relaxing and releasing. And the one person that was having a lot of difficulty shifted so much during the session. So the way to heal trauma in my way, how I do it, the techniques I use, is through energy healing. And what is energy healing? The way I do it is release work. So when I'm tuning into someone, I'm seeing their consciousness. Their consciousness is talking to me and saying, whatever it is. I may hear things, I may see things, I may feel things, or all at the same time. So I'm helping you deal with your subconscious that's running the show of your life, that may not be what you want, and alchemizing the energy, releasing what isn't working and putting back in what can work, and starting to help you to think of what you want, not what you don't want, and to let go of the identification of the stories that are holding you hostage, basically. Now, we hold so tightly to those. And I know that there are many techniques out there that I've done and I've tried, and they work and they're amazing, that help you with nervous system regulation. The way I do it is I go right to the source. This is what I've been trained. And it is not bypassing anything. You're not pushing down feelings. You're actually welcoming them up. And the more conscious of that you are of these thoughts and feelings, the easier it is to release them. You become aware. That's half the battle right there. So those techniques out there, everybody has to do what works for them. For me, I'm one of the type of people that goes for the gusto. I want to go to the weed and I want to pull it out and I never want to see it again. We're done. Are we good? I don't want to do this again. So I have that determination. But am I slow sometimes? Absolutely. Am I unconscious a lot? Yes, I am. I sit there and I go, God, I can't believe it took me this long to see this. But we all go at our own pace. And my teacher sometimes will sit there and say, you're not releasing. I'm like, oh my God. And I welcome that she is straightforward with me. And I'm straightforward with my clients too. But it is not a hitting you over the head. It's not a judgment. It's actually the opposite. It's helping you to stop judging yourself, stop judging other people, stop giving yourself a hard time, stop holding on to all this trauma, stop holding on to all this stuff, and go to the weed and pull it out. And if you need to do other techniques, do them. If you need other things, do them. Not all of it helps. We need all the help we can get. So I know for me, I have certain tendencies that my good friends and my teacher helped me to release. So we're all a work in progress. But this is the way that has changed my life so drastically, especially even in the last year. Oh my God. Like you've released when your energy body, when you feel peace, when you feel contentment, when you feel fulfillment, when you feel like a different person, and you really become a different person. You're training your body mind to be in your consciousness, to immerse yourself in consciousness, and to not keep identifying and looping and looping. Because another example is from the movie The Secret. I highly recommend watching that movie. It's on thesecret.tv. It's free to watch. And it one of the people they interviewed had been in a plane crash, and he wasn't expected to live, or and I think he wasn't expected to walk again, and he used his mind to walk, and he was able to walk out of the hospital at some miraculous time. So basically, again, to clear up some of the comments that I was getting, somebody had said something like, "You're thinking your way out of the trauma." No, you're releasing the thoughts about the trauma. And the more that you can do that, the faster I believe you can regulate your nervous system. And he had an accident, right? He was broken completely physically. And so he only thought of what he wanted at all. He saw it, he visualized it. And that is one way to really get out, especially heartbreak trauma. When I work with clients, I always say, what is it that you want? Because what happens is when we are in a heartbreak, we're looping and a lot of times, and we're in pain and we're replaying and ruminating and we're like, oh my God, blah. And it's like, let's do some releasing, let's do some investigating. But first, let's set an intention. What is it exactly that you want? Do you want this person back? Let's release to manifest that person back. Or no, I don't want that person back. I want a healthy partner. Release. I allow myself to have the perfect partner. And then after you write that intention, you start to write all of the reasons why you don't think it's possible. And so when I'm working with either a group or individual, then I do the energy healing and help you to consciously see that those limiting beliefs and to work with your energy body to heal, to regulate the nervous system. So, for healing the trauma, the way I do it as a coach, as a healer, is through energy healing. I have someone I work with myself, and she is in alignment with my teacher. It's all about releasing. And so I have my teacher who helps me release, and then I have my energy healer who also helps me to release through the energy healing and identifying the stories that I've been subconsciously holding on to and letting them go, which are usually limiting beliefs. So I hope this clears things up. If you have any questions, please feel free to put the question in the comments. And I welcome any kind of comments to help you to understand where I'm coming from. And this may or may not be for you. And also, I have a healing night coming up this Sunday, June 7th, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And it is a great way to a little bit of who I am, what I do, the work. It's going to be extremely relaxing, but also to manifest what you would like through writing your intention and putting it into the field of the group healing. You can also join my private Facebook group called Release to Manifest Your Dream Life, and everything is in the description. You can click on those and the community, and that would be wonderful if you do. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you get a lot out of this video.